с нами еще режиссер прекрасного фильма о суррогатном материнстве в Индии «A Mother's Dream», «Мана Сапна», «A Mother's Dream», «Мечта матери», Валерий Гудениус.
I wanted to make this movie because I like personal movies which take their sources in personal material, and I like when very special movies become more open and express something beyond our simple life. So when I found the Super 8 movies from my father, I was really astonished facing this material, because during 16 years he filmed his life with my mother, and he began to film as soon as he fell in love with my mom, and then Super 8 was quite expensive material, so he decided to film special events.
Okay.
So I won't do it too long, but so I thought that this material was showing something very personal and very banal of a life in Switzerland, from two people who came in this country, settled down, and then tried to make a banal, I would say a common life. And when I saw this material, I wanted to say something about what is inside this kind of life, which is the one of not many people, but people can face. I'm sorry, I'm not so clear. In this material can show something banal, but I wanted to show something about remembrances and thinking about what a child think when he sees his parents and so on, and the life around him, and what is inside the head, what is inside the life. And I wanted to make sort of, yes, going in the past and also in the present and also in the future, and try by this editing showing how the thinking, the thoughts, the dreams and the souvenir are alive.
I think the first interest or motivation was I grew up in Switzerland, and then I went for a few years to study film in Berlin, and there I came closer to the history, the Soviet history, and East Germany, which has a connected story with Russia or Cuba, and that was like the beginning of my interest for this thematic. And then I was attracted by Cuba also because I think it was less a film about Soviet, post-Soviet, for me at least. It's not like the thematic, but more the idea to try to go into this political context and make just portraits or find 4 interesting characters and do simple cinema in a place where cinema is not necessarily welcome or as free as here, or really felt like doing a film very free on my own and with simply made. And so, yeah, and for the touristic thing, I think it's also in Cuba, it's everything is made to keep you on the touristic side or touristic vision of the, it's like a decor, and behind it you have other reality, and I try that motivates you.
By the director. By the director point of view, of course. No, anyway.
Yeah, I know only English version of this word. Она была сокращена директором, режиссером.
No, I was really seduced by the approach of Charlie for this subject. I think it's always good to go somewhere that you don't know, to have a larger view somehow, but also it's a risk that you stay on the superficial. So when I talked to Charlie, I thought he spent several months in Cuba, and I thought that he was really knowing what he's talking about. And I saw some images that he shot during the first trip, and the pictures had something that made that I was really into this project.
Но если серьезно, то она была во многом, как продюсер этого боялась, но как только она встретила режиссера и поняла, что он был несколько месяцев на Кубе, она поняла, что это может быть очень хороший проект. Также она увидела фотографии, которые он привез, и они ее окончательно убедили.
Yeah, as a producer you get to read many projects, and it's true Cuba wasn't really my first place where I would go or travel, or I have never been there. But this is also interesting about my job, is to get to know other places or subjects that you're not concerned in the first place. And actually now I'm producing another film in Cuba, so I'm getting more and more into this country, and also more interested, of course, to discover it myself.
Дипломный фильм режиссера в Цюрихской академии искусств. Тоже достаточно пронзительная картина, весьма реалистичная, даже очень реалистичная, в чем-то гиперреалистичная, что, собственно, является ее достоинством, на мой взгляд. То есть проблему вот этой бедности, да, проблему бедности индийская, она как-то так вот выворачивается через достаточно сложные взаимоотношения суррогатной матери с ребенком, да, то есть чтобы купить мужу рикшу или построить дом, да, надо там родить 1, 2, 3 суррогатных детей, так сказать, да, и тогда ты можешь как-то социально вырасти и как-то стать, да, на какой-то уровень, да, это, конечно, трагедия, да? Ну, драма как минимум, да, и как все произошло, как ты попала в Индию?
Yeah, Mother's Dream is another film.
Looking for a story or a subject that would express a feeling that I have, that the world is more and more interconnected and more dependent. Like different parts of the world are very dependent on one another, not just in negative ways but also in positive ways. But I was looking for something that would express this feeling, and I started to read about a topic that I didn't even know had a name, which is the outsourcing of emotional services. And there's a sociologist, an American, who writes about this. And it's everything that usually was done in a private area within the family, or that are services that were always covered within a small circle, that are being now outsourced into other countries. So maybe we all know how a t-shirt is being made somewhere else. Now also children are made somewhere else. So that for me was a very surprising development.
Режиссер.
She has her own children, but she never sees them all their lives. She just raises other people's children. And the same with surrogacy, that somebody else bears the child for somebody and like gives a service that otherwise would have never happened outside of the family. And I researched and I went to different clinics, and I really wanted to talk to the women that give this emotional service and get to know them. And when I met them, what really touched me about it is that they want the same things as anybody else wants, and they feel the same way that anybody else would feel. And so what really touched me was the similarity and not the difference. Not to go somewhere and show something about something completely different or foreign or exotic, as you said. More to show that we're not as different as we think, and we would deal with these situations as anybody else would. And so I could so identify with the women there, and they could relate to me as well. So I really, then in the research, I decided to make a film only about them and not about the system around it, not about anything else but their private own situations and their own reactions that are completely individual, but also say so much about our worlds and how they can be seen as more similar than we think.
Да, извините, я забыл сказать. Значит, прежде всего, вот вы сможете посмотреть фильм «Мечта матери» завтра в 13:00. Свободный вход в университет кино и телевидения, правда, на Бухарестской, дом 2. Значит, и 25-го здесь в Великане в 8 вечера. Сможете посмотреть фильм «Кантос» 24-го в 5 и 25-го в час здесь. Ну, вы можете взять вот такие программки и там все увидите. Отчасти о швейцарской коммуналке, точнее, такого, так сказать, искусственно созданная проблема, конфликт, когда жители многоквартирного дома буквально дерутся из-за 2 стиральных машин. Да? Это любопытный момент, да? Это напоминает очень, так сказать, мой личный опыт жития в коммуналках. Это весьма интересная проблема. Причем жители из разных стран, да, так сказать, со всех континентов, которые находятся вот в одном многоквартирном доме в Лозанне. То есть такого, конечно, это уникальный конфликт для меня, который, в общем-то, казалось бы, никогда бы не смог существовать в Европе. Это фильм «Laundry Room», но «Laundry Room» он называется по-английски, вообще французский это ключ от прачечной. Потому что есть женщина, у которой этот ключик всегда в руке, которая выдает ключ жильцам, за которого они все время борются. Там очень интересное столкновение, очень яркое.
I begin in English. I grew up in Switzerland, in this country, in this area, this part of the city. And I left Switzerland when I was 17. And I would like to turn to shoot how the feeling who I keep of my childhood in Switzerland. And this feeling is there are some people who live in a normal way. They like, I don't know if they like, but they like order and a kind of discipline, yeah. And there are some people, strangers or not strangers, outsider people who don't who live in a different way. And I would like to shoot the meeting between a symbol, something strong, and it was this key of the laundry room, because it's an old story, I think, yes, the Swiss people can say that. And yeah, the meeting between this symbol and outsider people.
Ну, я пытаюсь это перевести.
And I visit a lot of buildings in this city because I would like to speak, to do something in this city. It was my city of my childhood. And I met a social assistant in this city, and he spoke to me about this building because there are some prostitutes here, some prostitution, and they talked to me about this building, and they go to see. And when I saw this corridor blue, I think it's here. I would like to
Режиссера пошло много прачечных
de rester à cet endroit pour que les gens ne s'en sentent pas comme des cas sociaux, mais comme des gens normaux. C'était renverser comment dire, de rester toujours au même endroit dans ce couloir. Ça permettait de filmer le quotidien, le petit théâtre de la vie, tu comprends? Et pas filmer ces gens qui sont pas tout à fait bien intégrés comme des gens, des cas sociaux, mais comme des gens très normaux, tu comprends? Cas sociaux, c'est quoi? Outsider. Yeah. I would like to shoot outsider like they were normal people. So.
Порезкой в университете кино и телевидения, так сказать, где тоже будет мастер-класс общения со студентами и со всеми, кому это интересно. Это будет 5-25. И завершим мы сегодняшнее наше торжество, точнее, так сказать, да, фильмом «Жизнь, господи, скажем, сад отца, любовь моих родителей». Это такая особая, это фильм, который так же, как и фильм «Рэйчел», демонстрирует особую тенденцию в сегодняшнем в швейцарском кино, снятом за 2012-2013 год, фильмы о родителях. Это просто такая, знаете, какая-то мощный мейнстрим. Вот эти 2 года, так сказать, снято, ну, не знаю, половина, возможно, чуть меньше, да, фильмов снято вот именно об опыте своем, о своем личном опыте, да, личном опыте своей семьи. Да. И в данном случае Сабина Бракаль, представитель компании Swiss Films, немножко представит режиссера, потому что режиссера с нами сейчас нету в Цюрихе, да, но Петр Лерти, один из, так сказать, мощнейших кинематографистов, документалистов Швейцарии. Да, и Сабина немножко скажет несколько слов в завершении об этом фильме, этом режиссере. Мы перейдем, так сказать, в зал номер 1, где после фильма вы сможете в том числе пообщаться с Флорианом Деминье о, так сказать, фильме 20 минут. Спасибо.
Yeah, Sasha's saying that
enthusiasm for all these films, even if I don't drink some water. And secondly, I want to bring you some greetings from Peter Virti. He was invited to come, but he has several invitations with his new film, and he couldn't come, couldn't make it to St. Petersburg, but he would have liked to be here with us.
ну, прежде всего,
The kind of tendency, what is nice with this program, Private Space, is the fact that it's analyzed from very different point of views, from very personal point of views, how intimacy is constructed nowadays, and also in comparing with other generations. And so the film of Peter Liechti, he's about 65 years old. He makes a film about his very old parents. And we have, like all generations in this kind of films, which are new in this year, like analyzing young film directors who want to see their parents in another kind of way, who want to be reflected with their own memories of their childhood, or with just the surroundings of their childhood. And so Peter Liechti's film stands for a generation which is older than ours, and it is also a mirror into Switzerland, how it was in the 60s, 70s, when we were like not even children, some of us. Swiss cinema. And we have been working with Message to Men as we are consultants for the filmmakers, but also for the festivals who are interested in Swiss cinema when they want to program specific topics or specific films on their platforms.
ну, Swiss Films — это швейцарское агентство кинематографическое, которое занимается пропагандой швейцарского кино и его...
Кто придет, старались заинтересовать программу, потому что, понимаете, она уникальна. Фильмы новые, да, и вы действительно можете прикоснуться к искусству швейцарской документалистики вот очень быстро, да, буквально, так сказать, моментально. Это только сняли уже, так сказать, у нас. Это, конечно, ну, это очень, на самом деле, приятно, мило. И для меня, честно говоря, честь учиться тоже чему-то у швейцарских кинематографистов, какому-то особому взгляду.
Yeah, thank you very much for coming and for your interest. We are all
very happy about your interest because it's very unique chance. This very unique program actually, and you are lucky to be able to get introduced very quickly to the contemporary Swiss documentary scene.
Спасибо всем. Зал номер 1.